UFC Fight Night, St. Louis, and boy, do we have a treat here. Ruziboev coming into the UFC promotion with a lot of hype surrounding him on a 3-match win streak. The 6'5" giant comes into this fight with a 7-inch height advantage, 76-inch reach. Unbelievable, guys. 34-8. However, taking on Buckley, 18-6, who was hot. Fresh off of that huge win over Luke. I told you guys he would win that fight as the underdog. He comes in here as a 3-1 underdog. However, he's fighting in front of his hometown crowd, and boy, are they pumped up on a 3-fight win streak. You saw him take out Luke last time, not even 2 months ago. And listen, that tells me when I see a fighter fight 2 fights in less than a 2-month span, that tells me they're disciplined, they're in shape, and they're taking this thing serious. He took out Morono by unanimous decision before that, and Fahilo, who he knocked out. That's right, guys. Joaquin Buckley, very impressed by what I've been seeing out of this guy. Short center of gravity. Now, listen, he was undersized in this fight, right? But even though 7 inches shorter, he's got a solid foundation. I love his combinations to the body and then up top to the head. But here's the key, guys. Even though he was 7 inches shorter, the same reach as the taller Ruziboev. And boy, Buckley did not come here to play around, ladies and gentlemen. I felt that Ruziboev did a horrible job. Now, he's a kickboxer, right? Great kicks. But I felt that Ruziboev just throwing the right hook at a time, only throwing one-shot punches here and there, going for the knee. He literally just tried to set up the right hook and then a knee. I just felt not active enough for Buckley, who just charged in. He tried to close the distance and successful at the takedowns. He would rock Ruziboev several times, knocking him down to the canvas, jumping on him with ground and pound. And Ruziboev, someone that tall with those legs, you get him on the mat, it's going to be very difficult for him to get up. And we saw that here, guys. And Buckley just pounded and destroyed Ruziboev. Let's talk about the referee Peterson, guys, because I felt this fight should have been stopped. What do you guys think? At one point, Ruziboev in the 3rd round took 56 blows to the head on the mat. Now, we know Peterson does not like to stop fights, but this is how fighters get brain damage. This is how they get injured. And post-fighting, this is how they suffer dramatically in life. As a former boxer, I can tell you guys, the punishment that Ruziboev took was unnecessary. He lost all 3 rounds on my scorecard. He had no chance to win the fight. And then things would get very, very ugly here on the mat. Now, Buckley, again, ground and pound all day, but Ruziboev would reverse it. After taking 56 blows to the head on the mat, he would reverse this takedown, and he would gain top control. And this is where I just feel that as a referee, you have to do your job and stop the fight when it needs to be stopped. Because let's say Ruziboev lands a haymaker here, and he ends up winning this fight. It would have been sad. Now, the crowd was just cheering so loud for a stoppage. Everyone wanted to see a stoppage. Luckily, Buckley would reverse that takedown as well. Get up. I just felt he should have went for top control, but then Ruziboev would throw a kick to the spine, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, a kick to the spine, and then Peterson would step in. He would separate the men. He would give Buckley a few seconds to gather, and Buckley's like, look, let's go. I'm ready to fight. I don't need a break. Let's get it on. And with only 18 seconds left, Buckley would cruise to a victory. Now, listen, I do want to talk about the judges' scorecard because I felt that, look, one judge, I'm not sure what he was thinking. He had it 29-26. So what round did you give Ruziboev? I had Buckley winning this fight 30-26. I agree with one of the judges. The other judge had it 30-27. But listen, guys, the post-match interview got really, really interesting. But quick, let's take a look at the stats here. Now, these weren't the final stats. Buckley had about 114 total strikes. A lot of them came from the ground. I had Buckley at 5 takedowns. I guess they officially scored him with 4. But listen, the difference in significant strikes, it's very bad. This should not happen in a professional fight with the referee just watching someone just take a beating like that. The fight should have been stopped. Ruziboev, he couldn't stop the takedown. He couldn't prevent Buckley from closing the distance. He literally was inactive, throwing one punch at a time, followed up by a knee. This was a brutal fight, and Buckley wins. It should have been stopped. However, I thought Ruziboev was like praying here or just trying to, I don't know, just interfere with Buckley's interview. I mean, you lost. You got to get out the way. If you're not praying for Buckley or just congratulating him, I just felt that was disrespectful. But nonetheless, guys, the post-match interview got really interesting. Now, Buckley had called out Ruziboev in March after taking out Luque. And of course, he calls out another opponent. Guess who, guys? Conor McGregor. Now, he got a bit disrespectful. I just felt after a win like this, don't kind of taint it with the trash talking. He would say to Conor McGregor, look, I did my history, my research on you. Your great-grandfather was a hoe. Your daddy was a hoe. Like, you know what, Buckley, you're being a little bit too disrespectful here. Enjoy the moment. Don't get too cocky, because Conor McGregor, he's pretty darn good. He's been at the top of the sport. He's a champ. He's really good. The problem is, though, I don't think Conor would defeat Buckley, because Buckley's, his takedowns, I mean, Conor McGregor has no answer for the takedown. I would give the victory to Buckley if he were to fight Conor McGregor, but Conor McGregor doesn't want anything with this. Stick to Michael Chandler, who's going to keep it on the feet. Conor McGregor should be able to handle Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler has a glass chin. Great guy. I love what he did. You know, he's, in case you're not aware with Michael Chandler, he adopted a young African-American boy. He's been raising him as his own. Great guy. We need more guys like that in the world. Michael Chandler is a class act. I love him as a person, but as a fighter, he's got a glass jaw, and I think Conor McGregor is going to stop him. It's a tailor-made fight for Conor McGregor, much like this was a tailor-made fight for Buckley to get in front of his home crowd. Buckley wins. Stay tuned next, guys. We're going to cover the Black Beast, Derek Lewis. And I also want to take a look at the Tisha Torres fight, or should I say Tisha Pennington. She's married to Raquel Pennington, and they have a baby. Look, it's just getting nutty out here. I don't know how that happened. But nonetheless, guys, Buckley wins. The fight should have been stopped. What do you think? Comment below. We'll be right back. UFC Fight Night, St. Louis.